Tonight's tactical enhancement is the Kyoto. Tonight we're playing Black Powder. It's been a while, life has gotten in the way, but now we're getting back into it. And we're in my games room on a smaller table, 4 by 6 foot. 450 points per side, rather than the usual, 700, 800, 900 points that we do. And it fits remarkably well, I'm surprised. Llew, talk us through what we're doing.
Okay, so tonight we're just going to have a general mill where I'm going to try and show General Chris a lot of the finer points of the rules and just get him back into the hobby. And hopefully we'll see a lot of dead Prussians all over the board. But with all this cavalry Chris has got, I think I'm going to be in squares and a plumb target for those big Prussian cannons.
Yes, well there will be a lot of dead Prussians at the end of the game, but they'll mostly have their bayonets up a Frenchman. It's 450 points worth of French. So let's have a look here. What have we got here? We've got... Talk us through the formation here. So for people like me who haven't played a lot of this game yet, what do you got?
Okay, so this is one French brigade. It comprises of 3 battalions of line infantry, which are just the normal rank and file. And at the front we have a skirmish line of French voltigeurs or light infantry. Voltigeur in French means volta. These are the smallest, most nimble men.
Right, I should call him Walter.
And then we have a divisional support, which is an artillery battery, a brigade support, beg your pardon. Same deal again here, 3 battalions of just regulars, and then the voltigeurs at the front. Some French chassis Chevaux de la Garde, which are guard light. They're probably the best light cavalry in the game. A horse battery. And we have General Duhesme, who is a leadership, well he'd be a leadership 9, but in this game we just use him for a reroll. And both my generals here are just standard leadership 7 generals.
Okay, great. Alright, so facing them we have Prussians. This is late war, so there's a lot of land wear. And you will notice that some of them are old and grey, and some of them have got spectacles, and some of them are missing their footwear. You might see the odd sandal. The bottom line is, the only difference to them really is that they're slightly less good at following orders. So I put the regular troops behind them to shelter them, because they might need somebody who knows what they're doing later on, who's not being shot up. Put the cannon over here, grouped them to try and put some real firepower down this flank. I've got Ulan Lancers. This is a standard size in 4 blocks, and all the infantry are standard size. And Ulan over there on the far side of the field. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing with them, if I can get the fucking focus right. But I figured I didn't want my flank wide open without something to threaten it. And we have some dragoons in here as well, in order to provide a little bit of support to the cannon. Now hiding in here, I've got a tiny unit of the Jaegers in the woods there, because, well, in order to attack into the woods you've got to be in skirmish formation, which I didn't realise that Llew actually has, so there might be a bit of a skirmish versus skirmish fight. We'll see what happens there. I've got the cavalry general here near the dragoons. He's got his staff officer there, but that staff officer probably isn't going to do much, because the Ulans are marauders, so they get to run around not needing to be close to their general to get orders. The infantry brigade commander's over there. He might need a staff officer, but it's quite a small table. We're quietly packed in. And I've got the... where's the general? There he is. Wait, that's the brigade commander. The general's over there. You can just see him on the other side of that horse. He's the little guy. Now, what's immediately obvious with this is that, aside from my guys being reserve infantry mostly, Llew's actually got... I've got about only 3/4 as much infantry as what Llew has. But I've got 3 times as much cavalry. And we've got roughly the same in cannon. And I've got the Jaegers as well. They'll do a tiny bit. Don't mind these chaps, they're observers. So that's it. We're all deployed and ready to go. You can go into those buildings if you want. The standard building rules will apply. They may look familiar to people who've seen my other videos from other game systems. But otherwise, that's it. We're good to roll. So let's hock a dice and see who gets first turn. Alright, what do we got? 3 and 5. Llew, you're up.
What you going first?
Alright, we'll check in at the end of turn 1. End of the French turn 1. Now, they've moved up their picket lines. They made their orders and moved forward. This brigade moved forward, as did the cavalry, horse cannon there. These guys were supposed to form into line, but Llew didn't roll quite well enough. Although they did roll better than this lot, who didn't get the fucking message and is stuck right at the back of the table. Did they get a reroll for that?
Yeah.
Oh no, you used the reroll for this picket line because they were pretty reluctant too.
Yeah.
These guys moved up, unlimbered, and blasted a ball at these guys, but missed. That's their limber back there, hiding behind a wood. Haven't they got the best job of the day? None of this running forward and getting shot nonsense. And that's it. Some of the finer points that Llew was pointing out is you want your general, and here's my general here, I've had him in the wrong spot. It's that little fellow with the red flag there. He's in charge, and the other guys are brigade commanders, but you want your general within 12 inches of a brigade commander, so if your brigade commander screws up an order, your general can issue an order instead and basically get a reroll. So we'll now move into Prussian turn 1, and we'll check in after that. End of Prussian turn 1. Okay, well, there's a game in two halves. The cavalry failed to take orders, and we did the reroll, and they all still failed to do orders, so the cavalry went nowhere, which is unfortunate because these guys were looking like a mighty fine target, and these guys here are sitting there under the cannon. Well, the cannon now has a diversity of targets because I moved up my infantry, and my weren't they enthusiastic. Straight into the biff. So I've charged in the entire brigade into 2 regiments. So each of my into 2 battalions. Each of my battalions is supported by 2 other battalions. So I'm in pretty good position. I did roll a bit shit, or miraculously Llew rolled well, and made a lot of saves on this unit. So I think that was a tie. And in the other one, Llew bumped off a couple of mine. I did nothing back to him, and he actually did some defensive fire on the way in and got a disrupt over there, but there was no disrupt on this one unit. So that means that this close unit's doing rather well. They're in pretty good strong position until this lot charge in, which they might. I was rather hoping to have cavalry to support these guys, so that when this guy's come barreling in, I'd have a couple of units of cavalry to support. That didn't happen. And we'll see what happens over here, because he could charge in with these guys and have a good old fight, or he can just blast them and see what happens and chance it with his horsies. On that note, that was a good bit of biff right off the bat. We'll now move into French turn 2. And a French turn 2. Alright, so Llew decided to go on the business of shooting rather than worrying about my cavalry. So put these cavalry on react orders. So if my cavalry have a go at them, or have a go at these cannon here, he'll clean me up with, well, he'll engage in the challenge with this cav. Now, those cannon fired at close range, not point blank, thank fuck, but they got enfilading fire. Did a couple of wounds, and this unit here blasted at him as well, but I think I saved that. These guys had a fight with my infantry. Llew rolled fine, I rolled shit, my guys fell back. These are actually elite though, and my guys have been knocked around the previous turn, so you'd kind of expect them to win, but yeah, my battalion disintegrated. Over here, the same thing happened again. He rolled fine. I just couldn't make a save to save my life, and that unit evaporated. But some better news, this unit here, which by rights should have lost by maybe 2, they had a tie, so they stuck around. So I bit of a rubber band effect there. There wasn't much else going on. That's pretty much it. The key thing is all this bloody lot came charging up. See, I had a plan. It didn't work, but you know, I had a plan. It's like a gambler in a casino. I have a system, man. Because what I managed to do in turn 1 was send my brigade of 6 infantry against a brigade of really 3 infantry. A little bit of support from a cannon, but I figured I'd go stacks on in the hope that I could get my cavalry up before these guys became too much of a threat. And it didn't work because my cavalry didn't do their fucking job. But so now I'm paying the price. Llew was just saying I probably should have held off and softened you up a little bit, made you advance. But I thought, yeah, I don't know. I've got a chance here for an alpha strike. That's what the cool kids call it. It's not my fucking language, but you know. It's usually something they say when a bunch of fucking Hind helicopters and Sukhois come flying in and smash everybody in a leaf blower. But anyway, I thought I'd get the jump. Didn't really work. But that's part of learning how a system works, because previously we've had so much going on, it's been hard to learn how to coordinate precisely. So I'm in a spot of bothering that I've taken a lot of damage from my biggest brigade, but there's still time to pull things back and make a switcheroony. So we'll go into Prussian turn 2 and see what I can do. End of Prussian turn 2. I can't believe there's this much carnage going on and it's only turn 2. Right, so some things worked, some things didn't. I had my second line of my actual regular troops charge into the units in front, the ones that had cleaned up my Prussian landwehr the previous turn, because he actually destroyed 2 battalions last turn. And over here, we walloped each other good and proper. I can't remember who won, it might have been a tie. But yeah, we did a lot of damage, but we didn't break through because of the amount of support that the French have. In this fight here, I actually won in terms of the number of casualties that I did. However, oh no, I didn't actually, lost that one quite badly, and they got pushed back. I rolled pretty poor for morale, but fortunately they're still here. They just moved all the way over there. Now this unit here got charged by the French, but I actually did we didn't do any casualties to each other, but because of the sheer weight of French support, I got pushed back. I had to do a morale test, lost the combat. So my line's been pushed back, which is not great. On the other hand, the French have taken a lot of casualties, so I'm down by 2 landwehr units, which is not great. If I lose 2 more units, then that whole brigade breaks. On the other hand, Llew's brigades are at a point where they're about to start taking break tests, and I've got a lot of cannon pointing at them. Unfortunately, Llew's got a lot of cannon pointing at these guys as well. Which is in part because my cavalry can't find their fucking ass from their elbow today. The dragoons charged into the skirmish line that was on the hill. As much to do with Llew's gentlemanly gaming style as anything else, because it was a bit marginal as to whether that fucking worked. But we got him and chased him down. These guys, we rolled and they got only 1 move. That was crap, so I used the re-roll, and then blundered and then rolled a 1, which should have had them running off the table. But Llew said, nope, fuck that, that's a terrible thing to happen, just take the 1 move, as though we didn't do the re-roll. Very generous, that's why they're there. But of course it means that these guys didn't get to do a move at all. I did have them charging the guns, and they would have been intercepted by the horse. If I crashed through, I could have got the guns. But no, my cavalry... well, they're like the English today. Llew was just telling me that there was a saying that the British cavalry infantryman's brains was found mostly between the horse's ears, and today that applies to the Prussians. So, you know, some things are going alright, some things are not going well. I would say this is pretty marginal. It's about 60-40 in favour of the French at the moment in terms of who's winning, but it could still go either way. So we're going to keep up the biff, and we'll see what happens. Over to the French turn 3. End of turn 3, and I'm paying for my earlier bravery. I did have a unit of landwehr there, but because of my stunning inability to get my horses to do anything properly, those cannon were just sitting there unmolested and moved up a little bit and canistered my landwehr in the flank while these guys got shot them in the face. Unsurprisingly, those landwehr aren't there anymore. Over here, because I crashed through over there and I had cavalry in the rear, and these guys had moved up without being otherwise effective but were in position, Llew's now moving very carefully to try and create a situation where I can only charge in the face. I'm not sure if I could... Can I charge that unit in the flank with these guys? That one? Mm-hmm. Right, that could be useful. And over here, worked rather well actually. I got a bit lucky there. I was bitching about dice earlier, but I shouldn't now, because these guys are still here. And it was a tie because of all the support, but these guys, the French are shaken. They've taken a lot of casualties. So yeah, this unit's actually pretty solid, and they need to be, because if they break, my fucking brigade breaks, and I don't need that to happen. What I do need to happen is my horses to actually do their job. Now there was some shooting. These guys copped some extra casualties, but they stuck around. That was from those cannon. So yeah, they haven't broken or anything. They're still here. So it's a bit touch and go, this battle. On that note, over to the Prussians, turn 3. End of Prussian turn 3. It was a busy turn. These guys have done nothing, so that we can remove that now. Terrible filming there. These guys barreled headlong into... Well, they charged the guns. Didn't actually make it. But these guys were triggered to intercept either way, so they had a biffo. We took some wounds off of each. I lost 3. How many did you lose?
3.
3, yeah. So our cavalry just mangled each other. They backed off. I charged 2 cavalry units into an infantry unit. Fucked it up. It's gone. That was great. Then the Lancers, the Uhlans, followed through into the flank of these guys. Rolled terribly in back. It was a tie, actually, but they had to back off because it was a tie. The Dragoons are hurting. They've taken a lot of wounds. The Uhlan are hurting a bit. They're not too bad. Both of our cavalry units have taken 3 wounds each, so neither of them are particularly happy about things. I blasted my cannon and these sharpshooters at a unit of infantry that was there. It didn't like that very much. It broke. The general re-rolled and managed to hold them after 1 move falling back. So that was pretty decent, actually. Then we had the infantry fights. These guys won that fight, but didn't break them. Over here, did I win that fight? Or was it a tie? No, it was a tie.
Tie.
In fact, I actually lost. I did an extra casualty than what you did.
Yeah.
But you have so much support over there that I lost, but I passed the morale.
I won that one.
Yeah, that's right. So you're going to have the advantage next turn. So lots of stuff getting bashed up and blasted and all the rest of it. Yeah. So it's a bit more of an even game now. I've had... oh man, it's been seesawing, I have to say. There's lots of things going in both directions. Okay, on reflection at the end of turn 3, I think it was, for the Prussians, so both sides have had 3 turns, we realised that in the same turn, we broke one of the infantry brigades for the French, because the one which wasn't destroyed was the rest of the units were shaken. In fact, we'd taken off the skirmishers as well, so 2 units destroyed, 2 shaken. Whereas with the cavalry, we had a close look at the rules for Uhlan, and because I had 1 heavy unit and 2 Uhlan unit, which are marauders, as soon as the dragoons are broken, or shaken even, they're not even broken, they're shaken, that's because you don't count the Uhlan either way, is essentially only counts as a brigade of 1, and that unit is shaken, therefore the brigade is broken. So that was weird. I didn't see that coming. I'll be bearing that in mind in how I build my regiments and use them, or how I build my brigades and use them moving forwards. So we thought, well, we've lost a brigade each. That's a pretty good reason to call it a tie.
Yeah.
Llew, what have we learned?
Well, I think we've learned that, like you pointed out, attaching a heavy cavalry brigade to a light one is fraught with danger.
Yeah, I won't be doing that again.
Especially a break, and you've got the extra Uhlans, so go 3 Uhlans.
Yep, so I did have the Uhlans in blocks of 6, thinking that was normal size, but they're actually blocks of...
blocks of 4.
Yep, so I'll be going the Lancers.
And the main Prussian attack through the middle went well. Unfortunately, their battalion is going to break as well, because you've got 3 destroyed, 1 shaken, and 2 still combat. So that brigade's going to break.
It's touch and go.
Touch and go there. But the keeping 4 guns together, or 2 batteries together, was devastating.
Yeah, that worked a treat.
Cranking my casualties up, causing brigades to break, and that's it. A lot of cannonballs coming at you. The fight here has been extremely good. In this next turn, I will limber up, move to here and shoot.
Ah, yes, okay.
And I'll swing this unit around here to give support.
Yeah.
The cannons of these will shoot here, so we'll decimate that unit. This has been such a fight.
That's a great brawl there.
Iron Cross to the Prussians here, Paul and Merit to the French here, or Legion of Honour, and the same deal here. This has been an absolute fantastic fight.
That was a great biffo there.
The light cavalry ran each other, stabbed each other, killed each other, ran back.
Fair fight.
Fair fight. Overall, it's been a great game. The Prussian hatred, I think, is really good against
That was
French.
quite useful. That I got a few rerolls out of that.
You did.
And given that if on the charge, that rerolls to get a 3 or better, I did have some good charges.
You had some good charges.
So
if I was a Prussian commander, I wouldn't be so impetuous.
That's probably the biggest lesson.
Yeah.
I probably needed to create the circumstances a bit better before I went barreling in and just hoping the other guys would work.
Yeah. Get the cannon to bring the casualties up on the columns, and then do the damage.
Yeah. Then when you crack in, you only have to do 1 or 2 wounds in the break.
And that's
testing.
exactly what I'd be trying to do to you.
Yeah.
Get up, get some casualties, and then hit them. But overall, a really good game.
It was a great game. I'm learning much more about how the dynamics work. I need to invest the 25 points on getting a commander for the Ulan, who has a leadership of 8 instead of 7, because, geez, I played, the dice balanced out in the end, actually. I can't blame the dice for the outcome. But there were some situations where I was relying on things happening that I really should not have been relying on happening. So anything which buffs that makes it more likely to happen is a good idea. Yeah, so better leadership on the cavalry. Massing the guns was great. The infantry I took in this game is the minimum infantry you have to take for an infantry brigade. We're being a bit flexible on support, because otherwise I'd have to buy another 50 bloody miniatures, and I'd have to have like another 100 points on the table just to get the minimum infantry to have a cavalry brigade, and I'd only be able to have 1 cavalry brigade, and that would be a fucking boring repeat of the same game over and over again. You'd have to play like 1,000 points in order to get variety. We're not going to do that.
Well, in the years to come, you can build your force.
Oh, absolutely. I'm quite enjoying fielding the Prussians. One day I'll do another army. It's probably a couple of years away. These little blighters turned out to be quite useful.
Yeah. Oh, shits.
Yeah. So I think the trick is to figure out where you want to shape the field in order to get something to happen, and then create... have the right guys in the right place to have good odds of making the various elements work together. Because the bottom line is my cavalry only really did their job properly twice out of 3 turns. I had 2 units do their job properly twice out of 3 units over 6 turns. So over 3 turns. So the infantry did their job pretty well, I have to say. They made their order tests and all that sort of thing quite well.
They're in their keep.
Yeah, but I was relying on cavalry to create an effect, and I didn't do the things that really should have made that happen. So I got a lesson in how to do that better. Any other thoughts?
My thought is the 6x4 table for 450 to 500 points worked really well.
Yeah.
I'd like to see some roads on here so I can use road column and get the extra movement.
Okay. Well, I don't know much of the way of. Well, actually, you can sort of see them in that box over there. I have some roads, but they're not very good, so we might do something about that.
Some roads are good. Apart from that, Chris, it's been a splendid game, and I've enjoyed your company. I've enjoyed drinking your scotch.
My pleasure. Thank you, sir, and likewise.
Cheers.
Well, folks, if you've watched this long, thanks for watching. Feel free to hit like, subscribe, tell your friends, help the algorithm along, all that guff. But for now, it's time to call it a night.